we're going to get into the most recent dream that happened 2 nights ago in a moment. This one's wild. But we're going to get into something that was a warning of what was going to happen. So February 12th, 2022, okay, which was 2.5 months ago. I have a dream, right? The Lord gives me a dream. And in the dream, I was told that Tesla is being sued by The Price is Right. And Bob Barker was standing there. Now, The Price is Right is on CBS. Okay, this is important. This was a marker, The Price is Right. Also, The Price is Right has to do with what? Purchasing or winning something, right? Or competing and winning something. So there's a dual meaning here. What just recently happened? Elon Musk tried to buy Twitter. Maybe you can tell me, because I really don't watch the news, if he did accomplish that and he actually bought Twitter. So did Elon Musk actually go through and buying Twitter? Because the last I heard, okay, he did. Okay, so this purchase did go through. Okay. One of the first out of the gate attacking him was, guess who? CBS. CBS, this is the article. CBS led the charge against Elon Musk in recent days, arguing that a hypothetical purchase of Twitter by the richest man in the world was akin to a, quote, Bond villain scheme and would create serious negative ramifications for the world. Well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? So this was on Fox News. I'll tell you, this was recent too. Hold on. I will go real time here, and I will tell you what... April 18th, 2022 is when this article emerged. So let me just get this back up here for you. This dream was February 12th, 2022. So this is over 2.5 months passed, pretty much almost 2.5 months passed by the time this article had come out. And CBS was one of the first out of the gate attacking. And the CBS's late show host, Stephen Colbert, started attacking. So CBS had their attack dogs on their network attacking Elon Musk. Now, remember, with the dream, I was told that Tesla is owned by Elon Musk, is being sued by The Price is Right. That's what I was told. So stay tuned on this. This is not over. Remember, the Lord talked about Tesla being struck at the head too, an infection at the head of Tesla. So I would keep a watch on that also. But this is a very shrewd move on the part of Elon Musk. And they're angry with him for this. Now, I don't know if he made some promises climbing up the ladder that he wouldn't interfere in certain things, and now he's interfering in it. But stay tuned on this, because I believe there's more to this dream about Tesla being sued by The Price is Right, because that's CBS. So just keep a watch on this. And if what you're saying in chat is right, okay, about Elon Musk stepping down as the head of Tesla, this was back in February 2, where I talked about Tesla being struck at the head, which would warrant him stepping down, which would warrant the whole Tesla Corporation maybe being, struck at the head. But we'll see. I'm saying we have to keep a close watch on this. And be in prayer about it, because when I say keep a close watch, I don't physically watch it, but I mean be aware and in prayer that you're probably going to hear more about this, and you're going to hear more about Tesla. The link, if you search on Fox News, the article is MSNBC-CBS-Tesla-CEO-Twitter-Elon-Musk. If you get that much, you'll probably find the article. So that is interesting what's happening. And it looks like CBS might be one of his biggest opponents in this, because The Price is Right was a marker. It's on the CBS network. The Price is Right is a game. It's a game. So there's a game being played here. There's a game of chess being played amongst titans right now. And some of them may be flipping and some of them may be not flipping, but this is a game. And this is an aggressive move on the chessboard. So keep watch. Stay tuned on that. Praise the Lord. Okay. So we're going to go next. He's being so good. He's fallen asleep. He's fallen asleep below me. Let's see if I can get you. Wait, hold on. Let me see. I think he's on this side. I want to show you before we continue. Nope. That's me still. Oh, there he is. See? Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to show him to you. He was just too cute. Okay. Now, we're going to get into this other dream. Now, this is a little wild, so stay with me on this, okay? Because when this dream happened, it looks like it's not much on the surface, but there's a lot here. And I called Barbara when it comes to this. Sorry, I have a little itch there. I called Barbara when it came to this dream, so we could, with the Lord, decode it and see why I was seeing this, because I wasn't allowed to remember any other part of the dream but this part. The Lord will block out the parts he does not want me to remember and focus me in on the parts he does. So I'm going to tell you the dream. Oh, it actually happened about a day ago. It happened on the 26th during the night of April 26th. And so this is the dream. I was in a home in a city-like area. Could have been DC, could have been New York, could have been, something of that nature, Westchester. There were narrow streets, and across the street, parked opposite side of the street from the home where I was, there was an older white convertible that was a late 90s version. No covering, no top at all. It was parked facing oncoming traffic. So instead of being parked facing up the street, it was parked facing down the street to oncoming traffic. In the driver's seat was a person who had a black leather outfit on, black leather gloves, and a black motorcycle helmet with a tinted shield. So their identity was completely concealed. I had gone out on the front, I guess it was a balcony area, and I realized they were watching me. And I took off, tearing down the stairs towards them. And once they knew I had spotted them, they took off down the street. At that moment, a small toy car, about this big, appears in my hand, okay? And I hurled it with such force towards that speeding car. It hit the trunk so hard, I could hear the bang from down the street. And it caused the driver to stop short. And when the driver stopped short, I woke up. So seems like there's not a lot here, but this dream was irking me. So I called Barbara and we together went over piece by piece. So wait till you hear this, because it's amazing sometimes when we get together from the Lord, what she can pull out of a dream and then what the Lord shows me to add to it. So this is what came of it. So there's no covering. They have no covering, okay, on the car. So they're riding around with no covering, which means they're vulnerable, okay? This person is out there and saying things and has concealed their identity. Their identity is not in Christ. They have put themselves out there but are false, and they will be revealed. This person is in total opposition to the people and is no friend of God's. They are leaving themselves wide open with no covering, even though they are concealed. So they've concealed themselves, but forgotten that they need a covering. And they've got no covering right now. The vehicle looked to be late 90s convertible. It was an off-white looking car. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. Okay, so I'm giving you a little bit of foundation here, and we're going to get into it. In the late 90s, many of you may remember, some of you may have to look this up, but there was a woman by the name of Carla Fay Tucker, who was executed in Texas for these horrific murders when she was literally on 4 different, it was like barbiturates and marijuana and heroin and alcohol. She gave her life completely to Christ when she was in prison, okay? And we'll get into this, but this was very strange the way this happened. So, the convertible, now we're going to go back to Carla Fay because she ties into this. The convertible represents a generation and 3 presidents. It's about what is going on with the one seated in the convertible. Bush Jr., Walker Bush, okay, is the one who was the governor of Texas at the time of Carla Fay and what was happening with her and trying to get a stay of execution. A woman had not been executed in Texas since the late 1800s before this. So it was like 135 years they hadn't executed somebody. It was more than that, but it was like, it was a very long time. These appeared to be some type of occult or retaliatory killings, okay, what happened. And there was a reason Bush at the time was so forceful about this execution taking place. That's going to reveal itself in this hour. Somehow, this issue that happened back then with this woman and her coming to the Lord and the execution and Bush being the governor is going to come back and rear its head in this hour. Okay. Now, somebody seated is running the show. He is already out there. It's a he. And then Barbara had said to me, Amanda, you are out there revealing things. You are a threat because you are hearing God and they are no friends of God. This is why I was being watched in the dream. Okay. One of the most popular cars in the 90s was what? It was a BMW. So just keep the name BMW in mind for this hour, this time. Just keep that in the back of your mind. This dream is connected back to the Martha's Vineyard dream. Remember I spoke of the Martha Vineyard dream and I was in this house and there was a lot of wood there and there was a crowd and Carolyn Bessette Kennedy was kind of concealed in the back until the crowd moved and I saw her for a moment and there was the Christmas chair and they were excited to make an announcement about the birth on the Christmas chair. This dream ties into that dream, okay? And I did a broadcast on it. We also put it up on the blog, Amanda Grace, 4him.blogspot.com. So this connects back to the Martha Vineyard dream. So you have George Sr., George Jr., and Clinton. They were the 3 presidents, I believe, right, in the 90s, going into the early 2000s. Now, back to Carla Fay. Carla Fay was executed in 1998. JFK Jr.'s plane went down in 1999. Who is the common denominator, was in office at the time in Texas and in the nation? It was, I believe, Walker Bush. Okay. So now, Carla Fay was way more than it seemed what happened there. And it's going to come out and point to the corrupt darkness there was something that the governor was attached to that in a roundabout way connected to what happened with that, that desperately they wanted to keep quiet. And if a certain governor was involved in certain dark activities, and Carla Fay may have been induced by the occult to go do those killings, well, once she fully surrenders her life to Christ, and it is a Saul to Paul moment, she is a huge threat and could blow the whistle on certain things that certain people in certain high offices of leadership had a hand in, that maybe they were somehow by a thread connected to before she became a believer. Okay? So keep this in mind. Now, and it has to do with who held this seat in the 90s. Remember, the car was a late 90s style car. And the small car that appeared in my hand that didn't look like it was going to do much, but it actually did a lot, represents a prefabrication. Definition of prefabrication: a process whereby structures are manufactured elsewhere but set up on site. So it represents my generation coming back and rising up with a God-given power. And I'm holding this car in my hand, and somebody has to put a stop to what's going on. They're getting away. Somebody has to stop them because it has to come to a halt. That's why the car was thrown in my hand. What's interesting is they're driving a car and I'm throwing a car to stop them from driving a car. It's interesting. The people hiding themselves at one time were seated in high places. Remember, this person is completely concealed in the driver's seat. They're out in the open, yet they're concealed at the same time. This also has to do with what happened during the governorship of Bush in Texas and what is going to happen now with the governorship in Texas, okay? And another question, where is Jeb Bush in all this too? Just keep that in mind. There's a reason they had him in the running for president, that Trump screwed up for them when the primaries were held for the 2016 election. There's also Neil Bush as well, just to put it out there. This is going to come back to bite them in the butt. It is. There is a serious possibility here that Bush knew the real reason for those murders, and when Carla came to the Lord, she became a huge threat, potentially to him and others. Okay? This is going to come back. This whole thing that happened with this woman is going to somehow rear up in this hour, and you're going to hear